Alright, so I've always been wondering how other millennials are doing with their personal finance because it has always been a taboo in Asian countries to talk about how much you earn or how much you're making or how much you're spending every month because people will start judging you.
I'm not judging.
And in today's episode, I came across a video with CNA Insider that's titled Millennials and Gen Z, Young and in Debt. So this kind of reminds me of myself. I'm pretty much going to be in debt soon when my new house comes, but let's watch and take a look at how other millennials are spending their money.
It's a Friday.
Hello. Hello. Diana, Sherry, Diana.
And I'm hanging out with a different crowd, millennials.
How often do you go out to socialize?
Weekly or every other week, we will check out like what new restaurants and bars. We spend about 100-ish per pax for dinner and drinks when we go out. Yeah. And to be honest, that amount is quite okay for me because it includes drinks.
So if you guys didn't know, eating out in Singapore is really expensive. I think $100 a week is pretty decent, it's pretty okay. I don't know, put into context, a beer here in Singapore is like $10 to $15 for a pint. A wine is like $15 and upwards. If you get like a pasta like what she has right now, it's probably going to set you back like $18, $20, you know, some green veggies on it. $100 a week, I think that's pretty okay. Sometimes I spend a little bit more on that as well. If you have a lot of friends, you spend more than $100 a week, but if you have lesser friends, I think $100 a week is pretty okay.
We came by private hire car just now, and you told me in the car that that's actually your preferred mode of transport. How much do you spend a month?
I actually take Grab like 99% of the time when I have to leave my house. It used to be like closer to $700-800 a month.
Wow, so like 99% of the time you take a Grab. So that's really expensive, right? I think in Singapore, transportation is one of the biggest things. A lot of people need transportation to move around. So $800 a month for transportation, that is quite a bit of money. If you are able to cut it down by taking public transport, I think that will save you a lot of money as well. So to put it in context, if you take a train in Singapore, if you take a bus, you can probably be in a city which is like 20 minutes from anywhere based on public transport. You're gonna pay like less than $10 a day. Or if you take multiple transports, then probably it's gonna be like $10 a day kind of. It's never gonna be like $100 a day kind of thing. But with private hire cars, those are like really expensive right now. So my wife stays in the West and we have to visit her parents every weekend. We do take a Grab home, but usually we take a train there and then we take a Grab home. So the Grab home is gonna be something like what, $20-30. So it comes out quite a bit. $800 a month, $700 a month, that's like 20 trips plus minus. That means you are doing like almost every day it's a Grab day. I think look out for other options, right? There are other private hire cars as well, not only Grab. Ideally the situation should be if you can take bus, you can take a train. I think that would be great. Basically a train, a bus can bring you everywhere unless you are carrying a lot of stuff, then that makes a big difference. Otherwise, I think if you have like if you're able to take a bus, you're able to take a train, you're gonna save a lot of money right down there.
I'm trying to cut down. I just got used to the convenience. Like I cannot imagine having to wake up 2.5 hours earlier now anymore.
So it's become part of your lifestyle.
Yes.
So here's a problem with Grab. The thing that I don't understand about Grab is they are not selling you a transport service. They're not selling you a food service or food delivery service. They're selling you convenience, right? So it depends on how you value convenience. I think if you don't mind going out of your way, I think it's gonna be pretty okay. But if you are someone like time is money, you really need that time, the extra 30 minutes, then probably you need Grab. And at that rate, I think you probably got to be earning a lot more to be able to support that lifestyle that you have. And I know of people that will order Grab food, even though the food center is probably like a 5 minutes walk. They will just order Grab food because why go out when you can stay in your house in the cold aircon watching TV and then the doorbell rings and then your food comes. So a lot of people like that, but if you're able to do a little bit of things that might inconvenience you a little, I think you're probably going to save a lot more money there.
What about savings? Do you put money aside?
Yeah, I try to put like the recommended amount, which is about 20% of the income. I feel like I've done pretty well, like ever since I graduated. But recently my dog fell sick, so he basically wiped out like most of my savings.
So that's the problem with savings, right? If your savings rate is at 20%, I think that is great because you are saving the guideline or like the unspoken rule of it. And that's the main idea of what savings is. You're supposed to save as much as you can, and then when emergency comes, it doesn't wipe out all of your saving. It wipes out a little bit, probably because the dog has some illness. It might cost a little bit more, but it shouldn't be wiping out all your savings unless you're saving too little or it's a very big medical condition. And fun fact, there is dog insurance right now. We just got some insurance for Bailey, who's outside right now. He has some dog insurance now, so I think it covers a little bit. It's like, I think like $50 or $100 a month kind of thing. It covers some of the major illnesses that dogs might have throughout their lifetime. I think that is something to look out for. If you do have a pet, check out some of the insurance providers here in Singapore do offer pet insurance, which I think is a pretty cool move. Can be as low as $50 a month if you want lesser coverage, but if you want more coverage, then it's going to cost a little bit more. But yeah, that's the pet side aside. Yeah.
I spent an entire day with Joey to look at where her money goes. Apart from whining and dining and private hire cars.
So what's next?
I'm going for a Muay Thai class, so I have a personal trainer. It helps me stay consistent with like my fitness.
Throw in her groceries and other daily necessities, Joey spends up to 3,000 Singapore dollars a month. But you see, her monthly pay isn't fixed. Like many her age, Joey has chosen to be a gig worker.
Alright, so being a gig worker is great. I think being your own boss is great, but it comes with a lot of drawbacks as well, right? You get your freedom as a boss, you get to do what you want in your own time, you don't have to report to anybody except yourself. But this comes with too many issues which I've identified, and I think it's very, very important that in Singapore, these two issues might come and bite back at us. So the first issue is with CPF, right? So if you're employed under a business, you get 17% extra from your employer, and your CPF money can be used to purchase a house in the future. If you're looking to settle down, you get a house of your own. And you definitely need CPF to pay for that because of how expensive housing is in Singapore. My upcoming BTO flat is gonna cost more than $500,000. It's crazy expensive. But thankfully there is CPF that helps to cover a little bit, so you don't have to loan as much, but definitely you still have to loan something if you're buying a house. And definitely you can always buy cheaper BTOs that are further out from the city. So if you buy a house at Woodlands, it's going to be like $200,000-$300,000 depending on the kind of flat that you pick. There are some at Yishun that it's like $250,000 kind of thing. So if both you and your partners are both working for a while, by and large, your CPF should be able to cover almost 50% of it, which takes out a huge chunk, and you take a lesser loan, which means you pay less interest as well. So on top of that, CPF is also really important because it's like your retirement nest egg, right? It gives you a monthly payout if you reach the basic retirement sum at 65 years old. And to be honest, I think CPF isn't that bad. There is a 4% interest, which helps to grow your money while you're working as well. And every month your employer contributes a little bit more into your retirement fund, which is also great. But now, because someone like Joey doesn't have, she's a gig worker, right? So basically she's her own boss. I do hope that she contributes her own CPF so that she's able to purchase her home in the future, because renting a house here in Singapore in the long term is not going to be a great solution, unless you don't mind moving every 2 to 3 years. And if that's what you really want, then everybody's different. I respect your opinion.
Which means while she's her own boss, her pay fluctuates according to the projects she gets.
So that's the second problem with being a gig worker, right? I think being a gig worker is great. You will still be able to earn good money. You're able to earn even more than an employed worker. But the problem here you have is unstable income. So having unstable income means that you'll need to be a bit more prudent in your spending. You have to budget a little bit more. You have to ensure that you have enough money to tide over bad times or have enough float for emergency funds. So let's say like Joey, she mentioned that her dog fell sick. It wiped out a lot of her savings. I think that if you're a gig worker, you should aim to save more than 20% of your salary, because let's say you have 2 months of no work, then it's going to be quite tough as well. So if you're able to save like 30%, 40%, that gives you a huge float that allows you to still maintain a lifestyle that you enjoy. That will give you a lot of benefits in the future, and this doesn't make you stress month on month knowing whether you have a job next month or whether you have jobs a month after, things like that. So these kind of things add a little bit to mental stress, and it can be pretty tough as a gig worker. If you're mentally stressed, not able to find jobs, you might end up picking bad jobs that end up, you might have to almost burn an arm and leg just to get the job done, which can be pretty traumatic as well. Hey,
This game
PlayStation.
console didn't cost me anything. I own another brand of game console and I swapped it with a friend so that both of us can try new games without spending extra money. Almost all the furniture in my house is second-hand. This mattress is from Carousel and my bed frame is from Facebook Marketplace. There's this shelf that I got off Facebook Marketplace as well. I searched for a really long time. So I wanted this as a divider between my bedroom and my living space. And my super huge dining table, some dining chairs, plus my fridge and my washing machine are also both from Carousel. Since I didn't have the money and I had a lot of time, I just spent a lot of time looking for second-hand items instead.
So that's actually something that I want to do as well. So we're going to get our flat in a couple of months' time, and then I think having second-hand furniture is pretty good because number one, you are being environmental friendly without buying new stuff, and number two, you save a lot of money as well. So with the new flat that's coming, it's going to be probably empty. But in my current room, I do have this cupboard here that is built in, so we cannot bring this. But the bed, we're going to bring the bed over. So it's going to save us almost $1,000 here because we already have a bed, we already have a mattress, we have all the bed sheets and the blankets and stuff. So this is going to save us a lot of money. And then we do have a small little rack there at the back, a little pedestal. So bringing all this over will probably save us quite a bit of money as well. And I'm considering looking at Facebook Marketplace as well. I think that's a good place to get some secondhand furniture. But if you are okay with secondhand furniture, I think that's pretty good. If you are not, then probably you might want to look out for some deals or some good discounts somewhere that you can get cheaper furniture that can save you a bit of money. I mean, nobody's gonna complain with extra money, right?
Joey started renting 2 years ago, and these second-hand deals have saved her an estimated 4,000 Singapore dollars.
I don't really budget religiously, but I pretty much spend about 2.5k to around 3k on necessities, and that includes eating out, buying groceries, and like transport and shopping. And I pay about 1,000 for my rent. I'm sharing it with someone else currently. And I spend about $300 on insurance, and I try to save about 1,000 a month.
I think Joey is doing pretty okay. She's earning 5,500 based on her median income of Singapore. She's earning a good sum of money for her age at 28. So for me at 28, I was earning a lot lesser. I was earning probably closer to $2,000 to $3,000, and yeah, because I was employed and I was working in a different industry as well. But then she has like $2,000 to $3,000 on necessity, which is pretty high in my books. I think if you can cut down a lot on that, I think it's going to save you a lot of money. So I guess that $3,000 is going to be including that almost $800 that is used for transportation. If you can cut it down by half, $400, you're going to save extra $400 that can be put towards saving or even investing if that's something she's interested in. And let's look at the rent, which is about 1,150. I think that's pretty okay at the market rate right now. And her place looks pretty nice. I mean, it's a really huge place. You have like a dining table in there. You have like you have a space for a couch. You have a space for your bed. Even a bicycle. I think that's a pretty good place as well. I'm not sure how long she's going to continue renting because rent rates might be going up if inflation doesn't stay. I think things are going to get a bit more expensive, and we might become like a mini Hong Kong, like a mini second Hong Kong, right? Where people pay large rentals for a very, very small living space. Alright, so now let's talk about insurance. I think for insurance, I'm not too sure what plans you have, but ideally there are 3 types of insurance that you want to get. The first of which is this personal accident that covers you if you fall, you have some mishaps, if you cycle, you fall, you see a doctor, it's going to cover you. The second one you have is the hospitalization plan, which covers your hospital bills, either with a co-payment, with a rider, or whatever it is. And then the third one is the critical illness that protects you if you do have things like cancer, diabetics, that kind of thing. I think these are the 3 main ones, which is personal accident, hospitalization, and critical illness. So these are the basics that everyone should have, if possible. And if you want something more, just budget around 10 to 20% of your salary towards insurance, which I think is a pretty good sum. Anything more might be a bit challenging. So it's one thing to be sufficiently insured and another thing to be overinsured. So that's something that you guys might want to take note of. I think 10-20% is a good gauge to have your insurance coverage. So like for me, my insurance coverage a month is probably like, I don't know, $600 somewhere there. This covers my personal accident, my hospitalization, my critical illness, and my travel insurance. So if you do need different types of insurance, then you might have to adjust accordingly. Otherwise, I think the main three is pretty good enough. So let's talk about the savings of Joey as well. So Joey is saving $1,000 a month, which is great. It's the 20% mark. So they're about 20%. I think that's pretty good. So I'm guessing that Joey is using the 50-30-20 method, which means 50% is for your needs, 30% is for your wants, and 20% is for saving. So given that she's earning $5,500 a month, I'm guessing that because she's a gig worker, it's going to be full cash. And if she can put a little bit more towards savings or investing, I think it might potentially give her a much more comfortable life, not needing to worry whether there are jobs in the future. So like I mentioned earlier, I did gigs before and I've taken up bad jobs because I needed money really badly. That is not a good position to be in, because people can pay you like a couple of $100 for a video edit and you end up doing like 10 different edits for them, and then you end up going back to the same first video that you edited, which takes up a lot of time and it's not going to be worth your money. So this brings us to the end of today's video. There's another person in this video that I'll be going through in another recording because I think it's going to be a bit messy if we jump between two people here. But thank you guys so much. If you haven't, do drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.